our podcast Lakoća s nama. We are Ljiljana
and Natalia.
Lakoća is community.
We'd like our podcast to be the platform from which your voice will reach new people who will be encouraged by your story and inspired for action.
We want to connect and support each other.
Let the high vibrations that we emit here together show that one woman, one man can be a source of a positive change.
Join us to get inspired, connected, and to laugh together. Here we
Here
go.
we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our show, Lakoća s nama, English version. Our today's guest is an international woman, born and raised in Czech Republic, Aneta Gallacher Russo. She set herself on a journey, the world of cruising. She's actually my ex-colleague, and we both work for Carnival Cruise Line. Aneta found the love of her life on one of Carnival's ships, and now she lives on a sunny island of Sicily with her husband Salvatore and their beautiful baby boy Liam. Anyhow, let's hear Aneta's story. I'm talking a lot as it is. Go on, please share with us.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. This is really exciting. I myself use motivational women, so if at least these moments can motivate somebody else, this is really amazing. So about myself, in a nutshell, yes, I originally come from Czech Republic, but since my early travels with my grandparents, I sort of knew I was born in the wrong country. I really leaned towards Mediterranean and travel. So as soon as I could pick and choose my school with a specialized focus, I went over to study hospitality and management. I always knew I will be in hospitality. Later on throughout the years, it really sort of streamlined and targeted human resources, but always in the hospitality industry. I remember back then leaving as a young kid, I started sort of mixing travel and study together and doing long distance study, which back then was not really usual. I felt sort of like an outcast. My family did not believe I would go really through with this, but I kept explaining everybody that I have my vision. I am one of those fortunate people that always knew what I wanted to do. I just didn't know how to get there or which path I will have to go step by step. I just knew where I want to end up. And so I traveled. I started working in Greece, which back then, now, you know, digital nomads and expats, they travel like there is no tomorrow. Back then, the borders were just open. It was the beginning of European Union. So really, it was brand new for people to leave, none of the less speaking English. So I left at the age of 17. I was still continuing my study long distance. And shortly after I was around 20, I got hired by Carnival Cruise Line. And this was the main point of working and studying at the same time, because I knew as soon as I finished my high school and the hospitality management school and I get the diploma, that I want to get a decent job. Back then, I'm not sure, now probably things change, but back then if you finished your high school, the only thing that you could really do is to start from scratch because you had no experience. So hospitality and management for us in Czech Republic, that equaled, you know, being in a restaurant or a pub, bringing the beers to the table. Not that I would look down at these jobs, but I have done this throughout my entire study. So I needed to secure a good spot to have a good career. And so it happened. By the age of 20, I started working in the United States on board. And the rest is the history.
Wow, that's great. Strong woman from the beginning, from an early on, right?
As I said, I was fortunate enough to know where I was going, and I had my target always in front of my eyes.
No, that's so fantastic. You've had your ways set in, your path. I have to say, congratulations on starting your business. That is like really, really exciting. And obviously this is all of that has led you to it. So this is what we love to talk about in our podcast. Tell us more about that, please.
We have just completed our new house, which meant that our apartment in Palermo I currently live in Sicily. So we have moved out of the apartment, and, instead of leaving it free and empty, we decided to rent it and utilize different booking platforms. First of all, 2 years ago, when this whole thing happened, I gave birth, and shortly after, actually a month and a half after giving birth, I started full-time job, for which we had to relocate to Taormina. I was completely left out of the picture. My husband found a manager who took care of the apartment. I had my full-time job and the baby and the dog and everything else. So really that went over my head. I said, I can't spare any more of my energy to really be worried or have any input on this. 2 years later, I have closed up my career of the 9-to-5 job. Well, it wasn't actually 9-to-5, it was more 24/7, as I was part of the executive team in a 4-star luxury hotel in Taormina. And we finally moved to our brand new house, and I was thinking what to do. I needed a little bit of time for recovery, mental and physical. And now 8 months later, fast forward, I'm sitting thinking, I need to do something. So I got into collaboration with expat group, purely online on Facebook, connecting, sort of being like the middle person between expats and people who want to come to Sicily and agencies who are offering properties. I have done that for more or less, I would say, 3 months now. And something inside me, was sort of not satisfied. I enjoyed what I was doing, but it wasn't really truly me. And there was an eye-opening moment where I thought, why am I helping somebody else to build their own business when I can do it myself? Now I have the time, I have the know-how.
Even better, right?
And let me take back our apartment, and I will work with expats. And hospitality is my cup of tea. I've done 18 years in the hospitality. When I'm not even considering the time of work while I was at school, I started working my first grade, so like a part-time job, obviously. But it is what it is. There is always a trial and error. It doesn't always go smoothly, but when there is the wall, you either knock it down, you climb over it, you go around it. Your opinion changes frequently. It's not like this is who I am and I'm like this my entire life. Some people actually are, but with experiences, things change. So you take little bits here and there. And I always say I built my own puzzle. So I'm at the very beginning still. The apartment is still run by the previous manager, but I'm getting my ducks in a row to get ready to take over in December and have this as a full-time job, my own income. And, who better is to take care of our own property than ourselves, than myself. So
great path.
That's the story.
If we can go a step backward to this online job that you were working, would like to encourage our listeners always to grab this opportunity that our time is offering and working online from wherever you are. So can you tell us a little bit more, like what advice would you have for those who are undecided to start to go to this road of opportunity?
It's scary at first, especially for people who have always done 9-to-5. I am a corporate person. I've been bred through corporation. So to step out of this path is definitely scary. But if you are sort of active on social media, then you can see nomads here, nomads there, people working remotely. So people are doing this, and you don't have to be young to do this. It's just the difference is that young people, for them, is absolutely normal. For us, those who had always 9-to-5, it can be fearful, but it is definitely doable. One important thing is to keep up to date. I will share my insecurity. Online, social media, computer stuff, I'm tech savvy, I'm perfect and fine with everything, and I'm a quick learner. However, one thing that I do not understand fully, and I just recently started, is AI, artificial intelligence. And it only took my brother to come and spend 2 weeks with me. He's 11 years younger, and he showed me a few things and tricks that he does for his business. He has a higher position in an unnamed telephone company in Europe. He is very successful. And he showed me that he has not built a PowerPoint presentation in God knows how many months. And if he does, it's through AI, it takes him about 10 minutes. And I was like, you know what? This is really, and I've been delaying it and delaying it and delaying it for so much time because I am insecure about it. But when he got here, I'm like, you know, this is it. So you need to keep yourself updated with the current happenings. It's the same thing like if you work in the IT, unless you do recertification and you keep yourself updated with new computers, new phones, new technology, you will not be successful if you stay where you are. So don't be afraid, just dig into it. There is so much you can find online to help you do step by step, and really the world is your oyster. You can do absolutely anything.
This is now perfect for me to do a shout out to all of us, the generation from the previous century. We can do it.
Look, if my grandparents can use messenger calls and WhatsApp calls, I'm sure we can all do it. We can all do it.
Yes. My mother, who is 85, she is calling me on Viber and we are sharing messages and everything. So if she can do it, everyone can do it.
I wanted to ask you, since now you are going live with your own business, which is online, comparing it to your previous jobs, how do you see it? Do you find yourself more productive? Do you find it more beneficial for yourself and your family? This setup that you have now, how does it make you feel? Scary or not, but you're doing it, so share it.
Absolutely. I feel great about it. I've been waiting for this for a while, but as I said, I was always used to be in a corporation, big business, big industry, executive role. Last experience was extremely demanding for me. As I said, I had this crazy idea to interview for the job in Taormina for a 5-star luxury hospitality while I was pregnant. And my husband is as crazy as I am. He supports me with every silly idea I get. And just a little breakdown of what was actually happening. I did my interview and 4 hours later, my water broke. That was my second last interview, and my final interview with 2 general managers for that role happened actually 4 days after I have given birth. So month and a half later, I started a new job with including a house search, full relocation, searching for care, daycare for my little newborn. I mean, absolutely crazy. So these 2 years were really extremely demanding on me. However, nobody else told me, Aneta, you must do it. Like my husband told me after the ships, I spent 14 years at sea. Take your time, relax, recover, get back your energy, find out what you want to do. And no, here I am. And I came with another HR executive job. So these 2 years really took a huge toll. So to be here where I am at the moment, I can't say it's easy, but I'm extremely satisfied. I have all time for myself. I have all time for my family. I have time to adapt and adjust to this environment because obviously I'm not Italian. Systems, they work differently. It's a different culture that I have to say I'm sort of adjusted to already, because my husband and I are celebrating this year in November 10 years. So the culture is not really
congratulations
the difference. Thank you. But I'm extremely content. You know, I think that I'm at the stage that money no longer matters, all those big bucks from corporation, when mentally and physically you're exhausted. And now more than ever, there are so many people handling burnouts, challenges with mental health. I usually used to be the one who would aid them and assist them. So I know the scale in real life, how many people are there. And at some stage, I was part of them, you know, and I said, no more. Yes. This is me. It's my life. If I didn't have a child and probably had a little bit more energy, speaking of 10 years earlier, I would still probably do what I have done. But times have changed and I have shifted my priorities. So I would much prefer to be okay, be at home and spend time with my son and do all of this than anything else.
Yes,
You're your own boss. You're
yes.
your own boss. There's nobody telling you what you have to do.
But you
There's
were
nobody.
just, yes, sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
Just being your own boss is really great.
Yes.
And
yes.
the passion that you interpret into it, is why do you need to do 9 to 5 or 24/7 for somebody else when you can invest this time into your own family?
One thing that you said is it is really some sort of universal through, I would say, that we all realize that we did all kind of hard or crazy things and everything, but somehow everything that we did was really what we had to do in order to become ourselves today, so
Indeed.
You wouldn't have that passion to be your own boss if you hadn't experienced something else. So it was
True.
meant to be. One of our favorite things to talk about is the prejudice that we are facing every day in our job about online working here in Serbia and in region Bosnia and Herzegovina. So what do you think about this? Do you experience yourself those things in Sicily or maybe back home in Czech Republic? How do you cope with it? Do you encounter those situations where people have prejudice? And
there certainly is prejudice, because most of the people, especially down in Sicily, they still have this 9 to 5 thing. Actually, here they have a long break in the afternoon, so it's not really like 9 to 5, but the physical job where you have to be in a hard store and do the work manually. However, it doesn't really impact me, to be honest. I'm not sure because of me really not being local and not being from here, that I'm doing my own thing. But naturally, I've always done my gig. I have not very often relied on opinion of others, not in a bad way. Of course, I look for motivation and advices, but I look up to people who are like-minded. I don't look back. Like if I would compare myself, let's say there is a marathon and I would arrive somewhere in the last group and I'll be like, that's fine, there are still people behind me, like I was not the worst. I've never had this type of mindset. I always look forward and ahead and say, okay, this person is better than me. What is it that I need to do to become either as good as they are or even better? So my motivation comes from like-minded people who are doing the same things, people who are in the same area, who want to achieve more. I'm not saying, sitting in the same place, doing the same thing is wrong or having a different mindset if it's okay with you. And there are always people like this, but they'll probably be not following your podcast, So surround yourself by like-minded people, do your research. Motivational books for me work greatly, even motivational podcasts. So these are things that I look at. So the prejudice really does not impact me. There is, because we are still left a little bit behind. I'm not sure very much of how it works in Czech Republic, as I go there very rarely, just on vacation. I more know of what's happening in the US than in Czech, but don't let it drag you down. I know it's hard to say if perhaps your family does not believe in what you're doing and they're skeptical, but distance yourself from this opinion. Don't ask them for opinion and look for something or someone who is on the same wave.
Good advice. Thank you.
I want to ask you, Ma, have you had like a little bit of these funny situations? Because I want to share mine, because while I was still in Sicily, and then my father-in-law came in, and then he saw my desk, all my setup, and he saw the microphone and everything. And the Italian thing, like, meaning, what is all this? And it was so funny. I was like, I'm not even going to go there to explain. I'm like, it's just, I'm playing.
Well, not at this moment, because I'm quite isolated. We have our own house. So I do my own thing. But previously, I have to say, the fun part was when post-COVID, I fully relocated to Palermo, and I need to be busy. I am simply always loving being active. And I started teaching English. It is one of my certifications that I've obtained throughout the years. And so I started teaching English, and all our friends and people around were like, why are you doing this? How do you teach English? You go to school? I'm like, no, I teach online. Why do you do that? And expanding on this conversation, I understood that either you work physically or you just don't work as a woman. You just are at home and you have a family, you take care of the family, and that's sort of it. So I have laughed it off and I'm doing my own thing.
This is the healthiest, the most sane approach to life in general, not just about what do people think about what you do for a living, but in life. You do your own thing. Anything else comes your way which doesn't really agree with you, just laugh it off. What else to do? That's how it is.
And look, I used to be the type of person when I believe in something, or I believe that my opinion is the right opinion, or that there are some errors other people are doing and they should look at it from a different perspective. I was trying to convince people to look at it from my perspective and that they would come on board and see how great it is really what I'm talking about from any type of different areas, even mainly job related though, but also from personal aspects. And I have to say I was very immature at that stage because it took me a lot of energy, willing and wanting to change people. And throughout the years, as I slowly matured, I have completely stepped away from trying to convince people, trying to change people, trying to push my opinion. I share my opinion very gently. If somebody is interested or it resonates with them, fine, let's allow. But I'm no one to, impose my mind and my opinion on others. So this saves me so much energy that I can invest into my own field, my own area, working and building my own business instead of, focusing on what others think and why do they think this.
Hopefully, you will manage to change someone's mind through your work now. And this is also the moment for me to point out to our listeners that all of the links to your social will be in a description in the show notes of this episode. So anybody who would have any sort of a question with regards to your apartment, with regards to how did you manage to do all of that, somebody who would like to have anything more to ask, we would be very happy to have these people contact you, because I know you will be more than happy to help.
Absolutely. It goes the plane again.
Yeah.
Not sure if you can hear it, Star Ladies, about that.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell us when it crosses over.
It's gone now. It's just a few seconds, but it's every 10 minutes.
Very exciting over there to you. Okay, moving on. I would like to ask you if you could share with our listeners what is it that you will see as the most positive, which pretty much you already have in the last few minutes of our conversation now. But also, what would you see as a sort of a downfall? I wouldn't call it downfall or a negative aspect, but something that would conventional type of job. What was it that was really great about that? Do you know what I mean? Simply to give us good and bad to what it is now. For example, for me, it's nice to, you get up in the morning, you need to get ready, do your makeup and the hair and, simply choosing your clothes. And now I just, I can do it in my pajamas and that's fine.
Yeah.
Plus, I hope you don't.
Exactly. And then the interaction with actual human beings, living in front of you, not only in a virtual reality, but in a real reality, proper reality.
So I have to say that I had enough and way too many opportunities to get dressed and be in the office, be in front of the people, in the suit, the heels and whatnot. So I do not miss that. I don't miss it. I'm probably known in my son's school as the mama who is always in the sweatpants. There are ladies coming in looking business ready, even probably if they don't go to business, they're always very nice. I take care of myself, but sweatpants and trainers, or in the summer, flip-flops and shorts. This is me, and I am not willing to change it for anything. Of course, I like to dress up and do other things, but I have had that for so long. So all my stuff is in the closet. I dressed up for you guys today, so that's normally not me.
Thanks, you look nice.
Thank you. I'm sure in the school they were thinking this morning. In the school, they were for sure thinking this morning, what is she doing today? Like, where are her sweatpants? So this is the positive side for me. I love being relaxed. I love feeling comfortable. That is the pro. Another massive pro for me is mental health. After, giving birth, women go through a lot of stuff. And I feel that I have not gone through it because I was just simply so busy, and somehow I have compressed the post-birth progress, but sort of it started maybe creeping up here and there throughout the 2 years. Again, the postpartum was for me very, very different, as I was fully engaged. I had extremely high responsibilities at my job. Plus, when my husband was at work at sea, I was here alone. So it was a lot of pressure. Again, I have chosen that myself. Nobody held a gun next to my head and said, Aneta, you have to do it. But I felt that, I don't want to say I was old for this, but I have done it. I've been there. I've seen it, and I thought, you know what, let's leave this to the young people who have the drive, or to those who did not choose to have a family. I need my peace, inner peace. So I would definitely not trade. I'm not saying, maybe at some stage I would return to corporate world or to different business, but it would certainly be now under my condition, and I would not say yes to just anything that will fly in front of my nose. That is the learning lesson.
Or even better, you can come back as the owner of the corporation.
There you go. There you go.
See?
There will be a long run. But yeah, absolutely. One thing that my husband and I, whilst we're extremely opposite personalities, but one thing that we have in common, we say always yes to crazy ideas, and we always try to better ourselves and our family. So
that is great.
Absolutely, that may be one of the options, but definitely a longer run. So this is the pros. The cons, the negative aspect that I would highlight. My entire life, I was used to getting paycheck every month, while on board actually every 2 weeks. So this is a scary part, for sure, scary part. But again, if you're willing to drain your energy for someone else's company, for sure, when it's your own, you would be willing to even lose a little bit of sleep, work extra hours here and there. Launching things and starting your own business is not easy, but I mentioned the AI before. AI can help you with so many things, like building your website, doing an intro, things that we used to sit on hours and days creating certain stuff. Now it can be done with a flick of a finger. So it's not easy, but it's easier than it used to be, for sure. And, I still think that the positive aspects are overpowering than those negative ones, because the negative ones, they're usually just brewed on fear.
Yes,
if you get away the fear factor, and you keep your motivation high, you believe in yourself, it will require trial and error. Nobody comes up with idea straight from the get-go, but as long as you're trying, you will get there.
If you're up for it, let's give it some time, and then you're gonna come to our podcast again from when the money start coming in. Then we'll all talk about exactly.
Or maybe to share all these AI tools that you're using. That will be fun.
Oh my God, I'm learning, ladies. Every day I'm reading about AI, ChatGPT, and whatnot. But I will get there. I've already cracked. It's similar. Like, if I would compare it, it's similar when I was learning Italian. For years, I could understand, but I had the massive barrier of having a fear to talk. Once I started talking, still with massive mistakes, I'm butchering the language sometimes. But once you, break that barrier, it kind of flows in, So now I'm tapping into it, and I'm
in AI.
Figuring
let
out.
us know. let us know when
Yes.
you're ready. Let us know when you're ready to talk about it. We will
Awesome.
gladly share that with our listeners. But
next podcast.
okay, yes. But you did a great slagword, the introduction, sorry, for our next question. You don't need to talk numbers, but simply, does it have a potential? Do you, I mean, it's maybe still early to talk about it, but do you see that you will be able to live out of it?
For certain. For certain. Again, I stepped away from the expat group, which actually was the door opening and the eye opening factor. So I'm very grateful for that. I was at the end not really convinced why I should make money for someone else if I can invest this energy into my own business, for sure. I just want to highlight one thing that I have come across, and I have wasted a bit of couple hours, maybe days if I would count it all together. For everyone that is listening and you see apps and ads for jobs and it looks too good to be true, there is usually something in it. I have myself come across to several scams, so I want people to be on a lookout. Despite me walking the world and seeing a lot, I still thought, you know what, this can be my shortcut. This can be the one thing that will create my freedom, will give me financial freedom, and I will earn a lot of money. I will be rich. Without the work, there is something in it. So whoever is listening, please be on the lookout, because when it sounds too good to be true, usually it's a scam or there is something in it. So hard work will probably be inevitable. But it works, and I would not be doing this if I was not certain that I can make money for myself, for sure.
Great advice. Thank you.
No, I have to say that I absolutely love your story, how going from this huge corporation with Carnival Cruise Line, then moving to Palermo full-time, probably living over there, going with the Italian expats, and you have taken from each of these steps in order to build your own. And this is beautiful because you're so smart, because you've taken all of the details that were necessary in order to basically put together your palettes over there. It's fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah. It leads you there. As I said, since I was very young, I always had my own vision. I didn't know how I will get there, but not everybody has this idea. Not everybody is in a place that they know what they will do. And that's all right as well, as long as you keep doing what makes you happy. And there are some moments in your life, for certain, where you may not be completely satisfied with what you're doing, but as long as you keep moving forward, in the little bird steps are still steps.
At least you're going toward that clarity. What do you want?
Yes.
Whatever you do, it widens your perspective and gives you a clarity. What is that you want? And then you can go toward it. I fully agree. You said it beautifully. Thank you.
There's no magic formula how to be successful and how to do this, how to move from 9 to 5 to online business or online work and become a digital nomad and make money for yourself, that you can live not only to survive but to be happy. There is no magic formula, to be honest. You just need to, as I said, surround yourself by like-minded people, do research, people like Tony Robbins, people who motivate others, who do different things, entrepreneurs. It will somewhere spark your idea, and then it will be like the light bulb. Oh my God, I can try this. It may not be an exact formula of somebody else, but putting these pieces, as I said before, like a puzzle, you will move forward.
Exactly. Things work out the way we didn't expect.
Yeah.
You gave me now a perfect opening. One of our punchline questions now would be, if you had a podcast, who would you want to interview? Who would you want to be your guest, dead or alive? Doesn't matter. The people that would be inspiring to you, interesting.
So for me, definitely a person that started from nothing, person that lived in extreme poverty, I would say, in misery, if I'm not mistaken, is Oprah. Oprah made a name for herself. I love her personality. I love that she still remembers where she came from. And that's one of my major things, never forget where you come from. And I loved her work. And I love her work. I will continue loving what she's doing. She is an extremely wise person. And she has done it for herself, her name and everything, her brand. She built it herself from nothing. Her family background is very, very poor, and she's inspiring others. That's what I love. Absolutely.
What would you ask her?
What is the magic formula? I would like to know the magic formula. It's non-existent. I know it's non-existent. Probably I would ask her what was the hardest part in all of this and how she has overcome the wall when she was stuck at the point of not seeing the outcome as she would like. So that would probably be my question, how she has overcome the difficulties.
Okay, great. But the second question is, if you're interviewing us, Natalia and myself, what would you like to ask us? What would you like to know?
If I was interviewing you two, what would I ask you? Let me think on this.
Take your time.
I would ask you what motivates you.
That's great. That is a really good one. I love the question, which follows up to the next one. What would you want to ask our listeners? And hopefully there'll be an actual answer in the comments.
I would ask the same thing. What motivates you and how would you overcome? Because families are important to us. And we spoke about those downfalls when perhaps a close family member is not really supportive of this movement. How would you overcome how would I put it? How would you overcome the negative aspect or feedback from your family? Because that is usually the stopper, believe it or not. When it comes down to life choices and life decisions, most people choose not to go forward and not to pursue their dreams if a dear family members are not supportive, because then the self-doubt comes in and that's a big stopper. So I would ask the listeners what motivates you, same question as I would ask you too, and then how would you overcome your family not being supportive?
This is actually perfect because our podcast is all about that. We are hoping to create a community of people who will be there for each other, who will be pulling each other forward, inspiring, helping, giving advice, simply being a motivation one for another. And also, hopefully, if there's a chance to properly going and helping someone to start something with your input, with your being there for them, because so many different ways they are, unfortunately, for something or someone to hold you back, starting from ourselves, whereas there's our fear, our
self-doubt,
feeling insecurity. And then, like you said, if you don't have a close people, your family members, that being the closest one, if they're not supporting you, you need, all of us, we need that a little bit of this wind in the back, someone who will help you, who will tell you, you can do it. Just make a first step. To walk a mile, you need to make a first step. And if someone's there with you, and I'm very emotional when it comes to that, because example, Liliana and I, we have done that to each other, because we, like a year ago, we didn't know the other one existed. And then through this connecting, we have created what we're doing right now, and it's opened up so much for us. There's so many opportunities, so much to do, so many people to meet, and it is simply beautiful. And we're just at the beginning. And you can imagine where can it take us. So.
Yes, thank you, Natalia.
Congratulations.
I always get very teary when it comes to that.
You answered on my behalf as well. So basically, whatever you said, it's really I consign. This is my motivation, because I really like to be cheerleader. I know that I have this drive that people follow. I know that there is that in me that can motivate and move people to move on. That's my motivation why I'm doing this. I love spending time with people and sharing and exchanging and everything. So yes, that's why we are here. That would be answer to your question. Thank you. It was a great question.
It really
Congratulations.
was, yeah.
It's lovely.
So I think basically, Natalia, we can, unless Aneta does not have anything to add that we maybe forgot to ask. Aneta, what do you say? Do you have something to add?
No, just it's amazing that what you're doing, ladies. I love other women inspiring, not only women, but anyone, but really the female power is so strong and the sisterhood is lovely and
Yep.
you know,
Exactly.
helping other people to rise up and empowering others is great. So thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate this.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for
Thank you
accepting
for-
our invitation, and you have
We'll
been
do
an
a
amazing
follow-up in
guest.
about 6 months.
This is great. We're not going to take any more of your time. And again, thank you so much for being part of
No,
this.
thank
And it
you.
has been beautiful, really. I have enjoyed having you here, talking to you, seeing you again, definitely.
Mhm.
We should
Absolutely.
do
Thank
this
you.
again. We'll do another catch up in a
Oh
couple
yeah, no,
months.
definitely,
We'll see
definitely.
how it
Seriously,
goes.
if you're up for that, once you're more stable and all that, that would be fantastic, to do
I
the
would-
follow up. And we need to do the evening session so we can have a glass of wine here.
Wine, yes.
Instead of coffee.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Then
I
the
would love-
conversation will flow.
I would love to have this really, if you're up to this AI in the business development, that would be great. Really, that doesn't
Yes.
have to be really anything expert. It's just like a common entrepreneur. How do you use AI? For example, myself, I'm using only ChatGPT, and that's it. I'm not going in. So that it would be interesting to
That's my
learn.
starting thing. Yeah.
Yes. You came in the period when we just started, and we didn't have much to show you, and you still believed in this idea, and you came to talk to us.
Absolutely.
To thank you very much. You will be always remembered like someone who helped at the beginning. Okay.
Awesome. Thank
I
you
would
for
like to-
having me.
Yes, I would like to call our listeners to look for the links in the description of our episode, where we will be sharing all relevant links to your business and everything that you're doing, and Natalia and myself as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
No way
ladies.
you didn't like this show.
Now, if you'd like to suggest someone to be a guest in our podcast, or if you would like to be our guest, in the show notes of this episode are the links to our questionnaires, and we invite you to please fill them out, and we'll get in touch with you.
We'll be back again in 2 weeks' time. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.